Welcome to Daily Meditation with Sangha Live.
Very, very warm welcome to everyone. I hope you're settling into this day well, particularly those of you who are just waking, just rising. It's an important part of our experience is arriving, and many of us still arriving into the space here together. And welcome to everyone. And I hope we can welcome every part of ourselves as we come in here. Very beautiful to spend a little bit of time looking at the chat. It's a nice thing to be able to observe, nice and early in the day. It's early in the day for me. Just the lightness of the day coming into being, and as others have said in their experience, quite a lot of mist around. Something I particularly like about looking through that chat is, as well as the warmth and the kindness and all of that, also that kind of broader sense of how our community is distributed around in different countries, and just recognizing that does something for the heart and mind. So, I have to make more space. You feel like you're very close to me, and I can see that and imagine that, but actually, wow, no, it's much bigger than I first thought. And that opens the consciousness, right? It opens the attention in consciousness. And yes, that's not a banal thing. That's not a simple thing. And it can be a very effective thing. So delightful to be able to do. And if you wish to, and you haven't already, do feel invited to say hello in the chat and share anything you wish about how it is, how you are, how it's going. It's just a lovely way of supporting this sense of Sangha. So we're going to continue exploring this idea of acceptance. And we had a question yesterday, and apologies, I didn't manage to get to many of the questions. So reminder, let's open that question box now. So in case there's anything else that wants to be addressed, that's now open and it can be used. And equally, after the short reflection now and the half hour or so of guided meditation, we'll have time for more questions around acceptance. So we had a question from Vivendi, and the question was, what if you're in burnout and accept your situation? You let go of your daily habits one by one that used to keep you functional to a degree because you have no energy for them. Then it's been 10 years, you still can't get out of bed, take a shower or do the laundry, etc. Is this acceptance? Is this acceptance? And I think I just want to kind of draw on that because, you're really right to kind of question the usefulness of acceptance in that situation. And it's a really skillful area where we can look at where acceptance is wise and acceptance is unwise, right? And it can be a whole mixture of things. It can be difficult sometimes to tell. So, Vivendi, I'm not going to tell you how to meet this situation. And, I hope you are recovering. I wish you well. I'm really glad that you're showing up and participating in this community. And also do ask if there's anything that we can do to support you, to offer you more support. What you're alluding to there, that kind of chronic fatigue is a very hard situation. Not having the energy to be able to do those things that used to help you function better. It sounds like there's real experience there of that burnout and chronic fatigue, as I understand, can be things that go together, but can also be quite distinct experiences and dimensions of your experience. So I really wish you well with that. So yes, there's acceptance in there, of course. And as we're speaking about it, some of that, of course, wouldn't be wise acceptance. I accept the situations that are causing me to burn out. In our life, there are moments where the inner state meets an outer state. The inner state meets an outer state. And what we can accept inwardly and outwardly are kind of different and should be kind of used differently. What I mean there is acceptance, patience, kindness, giving space are radical acts in both spheres, going inwardly, going outwardly. In the inward direction to ourselves, it changes the atmosphere. It changes the atmosphere, and that can contribute towards changing the thinking, the conceiving, the perceiving, the experience of the world, right? Outwardly, more acceptance, patience, giving space can be an encouragement to others to continue doing harm, or us not to change, our kind of societal defaults. Okay. So yeah, if your screen freezes, do let us know. Refresh the browser, close the app, start again. Those kinds of things tend to happen. Others aren't experiencing that, so check that out. Okay. I'm going to come on to my thinking about acceptance in the world later in the week. It's quite nuanced, and I don't want to kind of muddle up this thing. But for now, just know that not all things transfer across perfectly. And thank you, Verundi, once again for bringing your situation into this presence. And I'm not just using it as an example. I do want to address these kinds of things. So thanks for sharing that. So essentially, whatever's going on in our life, whether it's really difficult, really easy, whatever's going on, it's right to accept your situation is happening. It's like this right now. It's like this right now. Yeah. We have to accept this is happening. Otherwise, we can't do anything else about it. And so in wise acceptance, we do accept it's like this right now. And then we use as much of the head and the heart and the body so we can understand what is happening. How is it happening right now? How is it? Yeah. So that we can find the best way to meet our situation well, so that it doesn't get worse. Yeah. So acceptance can play the part almost like of a more kind of neutral observer of our experience. Oh yeah, this is happening. This is happening. The passive third person voice. Oh, there's pain in the body. And this creates some kind of wriggle room where we can kind of move a little bit easier. I like the image of the Dharma being a bit like untying knots. And to untie a knot, you first got to get a little bit of wriggle in there. So you can, okay, now I can loosen this bit, then I can loosen this bit, then I can come back to this bit. And oh yeah, now it's coming up. Yeah. So the acceptance is there just to get things moving a little bit. In Tibetan Buddhism, they have a word for this, which is gom. Gom, G-O-M, is how we write it. And it's also one of their words for meditation. So a whole kind of strain of meditation is to become familiar with what's happening. That's the meaning of gom. Gom, become familiar. It's like this right now. And that also has the flavor of what, kind of like John Kabat-Zinn defines mindfulness as having this non-judgmental attitude. Non-judgmental attitude. So we have to understand, and we've kind of been seeing it, this is actually quite radical, right? It's quite radical because we often are quick to judge ourselves or take ownership of, the thoughts and feelings, sensations that are happening. If we're in a battle with negative thinking, which can be, part of burnout as I'm understanding it, yeah, it's often wise to find a way to step back and engage in another approach. So we accept that it's happening, we find a different way, right? And that depends on a certain degree of the gom, and then finding an appropriate response. What that will look like, it can be all kinds of things, but don't just rule things out. It brings us back to what we spoke about on the first day, about maybe using wise distraction. Yeah, there's a lot of spinning thoughts at times. It can be healthy to have times where we bring our attention away from the habitual thinking into that acceptance space, and then maybe to a more wise and more wholesome distraction or hobby, a task, while the kind of agitation cools a little bit from that mood, from that attitudinal space, right? So we get to know it, we notice how it is, and then we just try something. That's what we do, right? This is how I'm kind of seeing this wise acceptance. So the key thing is we don't have to go directly towards experiences and, kind of with an attitude of fixing them to get, a resolve to them. Resolve, again, it's like this untying of the knots. Solve, like a solution, but solution also as in a liquid solution, a salt solution, salt dissolved in water. There's something dissolving in the resolution and intention having a similar kind of meaning. What's your resolution here? What are your New Year's resolution? Yeah, your intention for the year. And there's a solution of things, a dissolving of things. So everything changes in time. And on the inward level, as we were saying, more kindness, more space, more patience really makes a big difference. And outwardly, we'll come on to that later in the week. So what I say is there's 3 parts of acceptance which makes it wise, and we're kind of relying on things we've already seen, right? I didn't want to start from here. I wanted us to get some experience with what acceptance does, and I really appreciate any kind of push and say, well, I think it's limited, because I agree, I think it's limited, right? So the 3 parts. Part 1, I accept it's like this right now. I do. I accept it's like this right now. Right now, not forever, but right now, it's like this. I accept that this is dependently arising on other causes and conditions, and I accept that I can play a part in that. I'm already playing a part in that. My attitude, the amount of kindness, the amount of space I'm imagining, all of those types of things. They are playing a part. How I'm holding the posture of the body, it's all playing a part. How I'm speaking to myself, what I'm paying attention to, how I'm paying attention to it, it's all playing a part. It's all playing a part. We'll break these down slowly, right? So I accept it's like this right now. I have to accept, and this is quite a radical shift in terms of acceptance. I accept that this is coming into being due to causes and conditions. Okay, and that brings it into good level of Dharma teachings, right? This is what the Dharma is. How is this coming into being? How is this stressful? And what can we do differently? Okay, so I accept it's like this. I accept it's coming into being due to various causes and conditions, many of which I can play a part with. Not all of them, but many of which. And the third is I accept the invitation to participate in this. And I particularly want to emphasize, I participate in with what one of my really teachers I really admire, Rob Babea, used as the 3 Ps: patience. I accept the invitation to participate with patience, with perseverance. I'm not going to just be endlessly patient. I'm actually got a direction of travel. I'm trying to release more space. I'm trying to bring more kindness, and I persevere with that. Even when it's difficult, I keep persevering. Don't give up too soon. Yeah. So patience and perseverance, how those balance each other. Too much perseverance without enough patience, it's too rigid, it's too demanding. Too much patience without perseverance isn't really engaging with life, right? I'm just, oh, well, whatever happens, happens. No, we care. We want something to happen here. And then playfulness, that sense of participation in bringing things into being, because we don't know how things are going to go. And we're not afraid of making mistakes. We're not afraid of getting it wrong. We want to get it right, but we're not afraid of getting it wrong. And that's a middle way. We want to get it right. We're trying to make things better, but we're not afraid of getting it wrong. Right? That's freeing. That's really freeing. So this is a journey. It's not a sprint. It's like a very large art creation, a very profound cultivation, or a beautiful lifelong experiment in living well. And this path, this Dharma path, consciousness, this spiritual path that we're on, is made by walking it. And it's for the freedom from stress, freedom from distress, freedom from suffering, freedom from ill-being, freedom from dis-ease, ill-ease, yeah, all kinds of non-freedom. And so the Buddha says to us, is something more peaceful for you? Something more peaceful for you? Can we accept the invitation, that third part of wise acceptance? Right? Don't doubt it is possible. Remember that fifth of the hindrances, that lack of confidence in ourselves. Don't doubt it's possible for you to move in that direction. Build a path of practice from here to there. You know, the practice sometimes spoken of, our raft to the other side. And that, just that act, okay, I'm going to give it a go, begins resolving, yeah, the fifth hindrance of lack of confidence. We covered the hindrances yesterday, in case anyone missed yesterday. Yeah. When we contact the hindrances of greed and aversion, we contract. Can we contact them in more peaceful ways? Can we accept that this is happening and not contract any further? Oh, that's what's there as well. Can we get more spacious? You know, that fist that we can get, greed, we grab with a fist. Aversion, we push away with that kind of fisty, you know, open that palm of attention, opening that palm of attention. To accept it's like this. Oh, there's a lot of greed and aversion in my thinking at the moment. Oh, notice the contraction. And then we gently, as much as we can, relax and open. Or we might notice the hindrances of the energy. You know, I'm very restless or very dull. With that restlessness, again, it's like open out, let that spaciousness in. Comes with that degree of contraction there. And opening out there gives more space for that energy to be. There's too much energy for the space, more space. Too much energy for the space, more space. Okay, now there's more space and the energy's still there. And we're balancing that towards vibrant tranquility, right? The tranquility comes from the space. And the vibrancy, it was already there in the energy. So we don't try and dampen the energy, just try and open the space. Similar thing, but the other way around. It's a bit dull, a bit flat, maybe even a bit boring. Yeah, well, let's do something fun. Let's see if we can imagine the whole of the body, and the attention then goes through the whole of the body, and we just stretch that out. Keep it stretched, because it's going to like try and shrink around you, and just keep that stretched out. And it's like, takes just a gentle bit of energy, just stretching that out, stretching it out, keep it above you, right? You don't have to move your hands around like I'm doing just to demonstrate it. Just imagining stretching that out, breathing in and out through that space. And all we're doing is sort of like stretching out that sense of the body into the energy of the awareness there. And see what that does. See how we can play a part, right? And then filling those spaces with kindness, And the Buddha suggested going to a peace beyond peace. And that demanding, feel like a fist, open that palm, like a delicate feather could land in that palm and be felt like one of those downy feathers, that we can let it in, let it be, let it go. That's softening the body, softening the face, softening the shoulders, playing with that energy of the attention. Anytime it can be a little bit too loose or a little bit too tight, playing in those ways. So it all comes from acceptance. It's all part of acceptance. And that final part, accepting that invitation. So if you will accept the invitation, we'll have a bit of quiet practice together, and I'll drop in a few points of guidance along the way. So having a moment, feeling a sense of appreciation that we can have the time, have the opportunity to meet our experience. Letting the face soften, shoulders soften, belly soften. Allowing the spine to connect with the hips, the pelvis, just letting that roll forwards, open out the belly, and coming up that spine, letting it connect with the chest, breastplate. Balancing the head, if you need to tuck the chin, just exploring where a nice, evenly balanced space is for you. And tuning into the whole of the body, or an open space of listening in all directions. And within this, just noticing the next 3 in-breaths. Body's really relaxed, not tight, but not floppy. Like a well-tuned guitar string, not too loose, not too tight. And adjusting that intensity of the attention as we pay attention to the next 3 in-breaths. And relaxing. And seeing what kind of attention is needed for the next 3 out-breaths. Is it softer? Another 3 exhalations, letting the rest of the breath be followed or not followed. And seeing if you can be attentive all the way through the next 3 breaths, including those areas of where it gets subtle or still between the breathing in or out and out and in. So we already have this image of the fist and the open palm. We can use that as we're following the next 3 breaths, or the equivalent in the sounds that we tend to grip onto, squeeze a bit too tight. Just letting that softness come through. If you find yourself in thoughts, just noticing, is it a bit greedy or a bit aversive, or is it neither? It's okay. It's quite wholesome thinking. But whatever it is, what happens when we feel like we've kind of opened that palm of attention, softening the focus to be more receptive? It's like this right now. Notice, is there a degree of contraction, tightness in the face, or narrowness in the attention, hooked on one particular aspect of experience, which can be thinking or body sensation or anything else, a particular sound? What happens when we open the palm of attention, soften the face, shoulders, the belly? So that allows us to feel more. It's ensuring that in that feeling there's plenty of kindness, whatever that might mean, allowing, welcoming, caring. Can we adopt the conception that everything that arises to be met with kindness and care? Everything that comes to our sense doors to visit is coming to be met with kindness and care. Using the breath, or if you prefer the sounds, as a way of kind of steadying that attention. But when something else pulls us away, you're allowed, you're cared for. And then we return to explore, to investigate this dear visitor of breath or sounds in a non-contracted way. It's like this right now. Hopefully the patience, that slow motion attitude knows we don't have to fix how it is right now. Certainly not fixing before we've become familiar. How is it like this right now? In what way is it like this? Not why is it like this? How is it? Is there a contraction? The mind keeps wandering, not able to find interest, curiosity in breathing, which really is an amazing event, breathing, or hearing sounds. It's really an amazing event. Amazing to experience with sensitivity. We just inquire. We may not know the answer. So inquire. Is the attention too loose? A bit too floppy? Needs to tune in, like we're tuning in a long wave radio to a distant radio station, maybe overseas radio station. Pick up that, like we're picking up the breath. It's just a faint signal. See if we have the art of tuning in. You need to adjust the volume of our attention as we get into the subtler bits, turning that volume up and then fading it back down, riding the whole of that breath. A similar thing with sounds. Or actually, is it not that it's too loose? Is it too tight? Can't always tell. Is it squeezing a bit too tight? We need that looseness. You need to unwind a little bit. You tuned that string too tight. It's close to breaking. We drift off as a relief, in a sense, and keep winding it too tight. So you need more softness. Let's play a little bit in the breathing. Try a few real tuned in. Try a few backing off, softening. It's like this right now. It's like this. Slow motion. Calm. It's like this. Accepting it's like this is essential, of course. But this path of peace doesn't end there. The goal is not acceptance. The goal is the reduction in dukkha, distress, ill ease, ill being. And that takes patience, perseverance, and playfulness. So inviting you to play a little bit with that sense of awareness, sense of attention. Imagine, and this would be really good if we have a sense of restlessness, and that might express as irritation or wanting to get up and get out and get on. What's it like if we stretch by releasing the awareness, like it just wants to expand, and we just allow it to extend through the whole of the body, out the back of the body, above, below, in front, just not pulled in, allowed to have more space, and allowing the energy almost to dance into that area. It's like we're releasing an energetic young horse into a bigger field from the stable. Letting the body breathe, come alive, more space around the body. And if the body's not a place you want to be, bringing the attention right now, you can do the same in the sounds. If you're happy enough in the body, just including that space beneath, giving that energy more to play in, not pulling it in, not conceiving it narrowly, seeing how that is. Sometimes that shrinks back in, gets narrow. Just keep practicing this path of peace involves just opening it back out again, allowing it to open, allowing the attention, the awareness to open like a spring flower, opening, releasing, more room for that energy. Softening the face, belly, allowing the chest to open, dissolving into this vaster space. Of course, it may not be a restlessness, an irritation, a wanting to get up and out. It might be more that we're a bit drowsy, a bit dull. Or it could be that that practice is supporting us to get drowsy or dull. Probably not, but it's possible. Imagining instead that the awareness keeps shrinking in as if from its own side. We just stretch it out, bring it out, almost like we're pushing it out above the head, just a hand width around above the head, out the back of the body. An active sense of stretching it out in front, out to the sides. And that breath that we're breathing, all these sounds that we're hearing are kind of bringing a sense of kindness, warmth, appreciation through the whole space. A bit of space around the body, beneath the body. It's like we're just radiating, glowing, a kind of aura of awareness around us. Have a similar kind of image to that. It will shrink, we stretch it back out. And still breathing, a delicate and sensitive, very sensitive breathing, intimate breathing, or listening. You might shrink from the back, remembering the back, stretching out at the back. Around the chest, to the sides, above and beneath. If the breath becomes more subtle, just sensing it like an energy moving. And then resting, relaxing. Having a few breaths, listening to the sounds, and also feeling how it feels in the body, heart, mind, as we have the last minute of practice. It's like this right now.
Today's podcast is an offering to you from our archive of freely available live daily classes. We make wisdom teachings and meditations as freely available as possible to as many people as wish to practice. You can help ensure we can continue to support a worldwide Sangha by leaving a review wherever you get your podcasts, by sharing this with someone who'd be interested, and by offering a small financial support at sangha.live/donate.